All right, so last week we closed bullish on DXY, right? We closed bullish on DXY. We closed above the previous week's high, then we swept the previous week's low, giving us the indication that last week's candle totally engulfed the previous week's candle, and then we also closed within the range of last 3 weeks candle, telling us about 3 weeks, 2 weeks worth of price action was not able to close below this week's low, telling us sellers are exhausted in them. There might be bullish sentiment entering the market. So we are looking for price to remain bullish till this fresh supply. This is the next target for price. Now we have a demand that's in control, and then we'll be looking for the target, which is the supply, right? So on the daily, right, price seems to be breaking out of this range, right? So we are going to get an initial momentum break, a bit of a push up, get a push down to exhaust after the break, right? And then we continue bullish. So on DXY this week, I'm expecting an initial push up, a push down to to make a correction, right, and tap into our demand, and then we push further to the upside, right? Right, so just like I analyzed on the DXY, I'm expecting a bit of a pullback into the weekly demand, and then the demander has currently been in control on the DXY, and then we push to the upside. So I'm expecting initial sells and then buy. Same on the odd USD, I'm expecting initial buys to correct this down move, right, and then we push to the downside. So on the 4-hour, we swept this liquidity below this low, right? Let's see if it can facilitate or full price to push to the upside, to tap into the supply that led to this strong bearish move to the downside, right? Yes, and then from that supply, we know we are moving down to demand, and even maybe beyond that demand, to the demand below here, fresh demand below here. So this week on all the USD, I'm bearish on all the USD. I'm expecting initial bullishness, right, to make a correction, and then we switch bearish within the week, right? All right, so I'm bearish on Eurusd this week, right? I'm expecting first initial bullish correction, and then we start being bearish, because on the DXY we've had a weekly close above last week's, right? Last week's candle closed above the previous 2 weeks high, right, and the demand has been created. So I'm expecting initial drop on the DXY to test that demand, and then we remain bullish to the upside. So same on Euro USD, I'm expecting initial bullishness to the upside, right? So since we've had a breakout on the DXY, we are going to have on the DXY we are going to have a further push a bit, and then we exhaust and correct down. So on the Euro USD, I'm expecting initial a bit of a push to tap into this demand, right? We shift sentiment, we push to the upside, right, tap above these highs, and then we drop to the downside. So initial bullishness, and then we shift bearish. Although this last week's candle was bearish, we were not able to close, right? We swept the prior candles week's low, but we didn't close below it. So that can tell us there's a bit of bullish sentiment stepping in the market. So that is going to give us that correction, and then we continue being bearish, right? So on Euro USD this week, I'm expecting initial bullishness, and then we shift bearish. So I'm expecting a buy before the actual movement, which is the sell. All right, so since we were expecting initial bearishness from the dollar before we buy, right, we are expecting a sell before the actual movement, which is the buy. We are also expecting initial bearishness from USD XXSP. So on the USD CHF, I'm expecting price to push down make a correction after this impulsive move, and then what, we push to the upside. On the 1 hour view of things, we've had what, a structural shift, right? And then we are currently in the supply that led to what, taking out the structural shift. We have these equal highs, and I mentioned that on market open, I'm expecting DXY to continue a bit above, right? And then we will get that shift to the downside. So this equal highs liquidity, right? Price is likely to what, push a bit up, sweep this equal highs liquidity, and then we push to the downside. After that needed correction, USD CHF will shift bullish. So that's my outlook on what USD CHF, since there has been rate cuts by the Swiss National Bank on the Swiss franc, right? My ultimate projection on USD CAD should be bullish, right? Or my ultimate projection on USD CAD is bullish, because since there's rate cuts on the CHF, so fundamentally we should be bullish. We should be bullish on USD CHF, because any currency against USD CHF is going to dominate USD CHF, since fundamentally CHF is what has lost weakness. So I'm expecting initial correction after this overextension, and then we keep pushing to the upside. Now we'll be pushing to the upside for our supply targets. We have this initial supply, and then we have the supply that led to the break of this major structural low, right? So I'm fancying price pushing above here. So this will likely serve as an inducement, right? Have initial, then we get a breakup to tap into this supply. So my outlook on USD CHF is bullishness, right? So on odd card, I'm expecting a reaction to the upside. We are currently at this daily demand zone, so it makes sense that what, we push to the upside to tap into this what, supply, right? So on a 4-hour look of things, we are in this demand, right? And this is our current supply in control of price that led price to this demand. So till we start trading above the supply, we can't be looking for what, buys, right? We have to trade above the supply, and then our target supply would be what, this 4-hour supply. This is the initial supply that led to the taking out of this low, right? And then we had this initial ranging, and then pushing down to this demand, right? So if we start trading above the supply, we can be looking for what, continuum buys to the odd card. I'm bullish on odd card, but on the condition you start trading above this supply in control, because we could very much react to this supply, push down, sweep the lows of this what, sweep the lows of this structure. We have equal, kind of an equal low liquidity, sweep the lows, and then we start pushing to the upside, right? So on odd card, I'm bullish on odd card because we've had this long overextension last week, right? So I'm expecting initial push to the downside, then push to the upside, right?